just like,
I was like, hi, hey. And you're like, just staring at me. I mean, not that I don't mind it. I mean, it's smolder at me all morning, baby.
with this face. No, just kidding. Oh gosh, how are you? How are you
I'm
doing?
okay. How are you?
You had a rough week.
A little bit. I mean, I can't really complain. It's just me trying to adjust. Whatchamacallit. Today was the first morning in I think 2 weeks that I haven't had to wake up at 5 a.m. Because the dog is finally done with meds. Thank God. Hold on, let me shut the door. I forgot to shut the door. I had to set a load of laundry, and I realized you guys can probably hear the laundry going. So
I can't actually. I know I was about to put mine in because it's right beside here. Then I'm like, I don't think people need to hear boom, boom, boom. Yeah, that's more accurate.
You got boys, I'm sure it's like heavy duty stuff going in there.
It's not even. It's just a stupid machine. Maybe when I overload it, I don't know.
Probably
trying to cheat, get it done sooner.
Trying to find the cheat code for it for sure. So I felt better today because I slept in today. Yesterday, I woke up at 5 a.m, gave the dog his meds, made sure he went to the bathroom, and then went back to bed for a little bit. But I think I need to catch up, and then hopefully things will mellow out this week because of all the strike things going on. So we shall see.
I know. That's crazy, right?
How are you holding up with the school strike? If you guys don't know, Dal's kids' school is on strike. Yeah, I think that's worse than possibly my job strike going on.
Honestly, what difference does it make when your kids are sick? Like now the little one woke up. Well, he was up during the night as well, coughing, like obviously they're stuffed up.
Aww. Yeah.
So the other one is on antibiotics. And then on top of that, like he, has some other issues going on. We're seeing a specialist this week.
And for his tonsils, right?
No, this is something separate, like another separate issue. Okay. And then now the little one's sick, and it's like, okay, well, they're off school anyway, so what difference does it make? But I don't know. It just feels like my kids have been sick on and off since beginning of September, like since school started. It's crazy.
And that was us last year.
Yeah, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Don't feel bad. It's because honestly, like last year, I thought like this is going to be our year. Like the kids are older now. Like we're going to get past it. No. The whole entire fall through like winter, springish, nah.
And I keep
it was always the
sick.
Little one.
It sucks. And you know this, like I remember this last season, you were like pretty down with a bunch of things. But I keep getting sick, but it's like, it hasn't been crazy enough, like what they've had, but I still get something, and it's just you're just unwell all the time, right?
Yes, you just feel like, okay, well, I've got to turn on autopilot right now and handle some of the things or majority of the things, but it's like you feel like you got hit by a truck, and so everything just feels harder. Like even like lifting up your arm to scoop up something, you're like, this is hard. Why is this hard right now?
Just sleep, all of it. So I don't know.
It's hard when your kids are sick because honestly, like. They get whiny and I understand it because it's like they don't know how to handle it. They don't know how to advocate for themselves other than just whine and meh, hugs. Meh.
Well, and this is it, right? They want to cuddle. Like yesterday, I didn't get to my my front loading till like 2:30 p.m. because they wanted to cuddle all morning, or they're just whining. Oh, okay, quotes, but they want comfort. They want to be held. They want to and. Sometimes as moms, we just have to we got things to do, but that's also important too. And it needs to get done. And then we played Monopoly. And so, by the time, anyways, but got it done, but that was it.
Yeah.
So,
but it was hard.
It was hard. And anyways, I mean, now we're getting into the season of a ton of events, festivities. So let's talk about that. Carmie, take
segue.
Yeah.
Segue. What a wonderful segue. All right, guys. Well, welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Cycle, Redefining Weight Loss, Health, and Mom Life. And today we decided to talk about holidays, the holiday hustle. I think as health coaches, we see it very often. And not necessarily even the holidays. We can talk about it too, where it seems like the trend for most people is the holidays come and it's always event after event after event where you kind of get lost in the sauce and you forget to take care of you. You forget about those foundational habits and you just kind of say F it. I'll worry about it in January. And then everybody
Mm-hmm.
kind of clicks back on in January because it's now hot mom, hot dad summertime, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
then you get all in on all the things, and then here comes summer, and then you say F it again because you have certain events. So
Summer, girl, let's rewind. Super Bowl, February,
there you go.
St. Patrick's
Yeah,
Day,
so
March, Easter, April, right? Like
yes,
that's just your
yes.
traditional Western, or not Western necessarily, but holidays that are more popular. Um, and like we hear this, the messaging, and it is, there's a lot of messaging out there from coaches as well that it's only a couple of days, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, even if you take into account Halloween, it's Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas. Maybe you have a couple celebrations, New Year's. Okay, add on, maybe tack on 2, 3 more events. Okay, let's say 5, 6 events, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and even with that, like you can maintain your progress. You really can, and we know
Yes.
that, right?
Yes.
However, that's not always the case. I'd argue, coming from my cultural background, and that it's not just one event. It's not just five,
No.
six events captured in the month of like November and December. For a lot of, I know for South Asians, South Indians, just generally, it kind of starts in September. And so these events, like different holidays like Diwali, and different holidays just specific to different regions in India, right? Like everyone celebrates
Mm-hmm.
different things. Some people celebrate
Yes.
many things, and they cross over. And then you have other cultures, right? Like there's
Uh-huh.
Hanukkah, I'm not sure like what specific holidays you may have in this period. So it's not necessarily 5, 6 events. And so that advice, I don't think maybe resonates or really relates to people from different cultures
Yeah.
outside of your typical Western kind of, Caucasian, right? Like your
Right.
Christmas. Christmas is big, but
Yes.
and
I mean,
so
for here, it's pretty much just what is it? It's Halloween, it's Christmas, it's Thanksgiving, and then it's New Year's. And then if you are Jewish, it's Passover and whatever else is there. So, yes, it is only a handful of things, but I think that's just a very cut and dry
it
thing
really is, yeah. And I
where
don't
when
think,
coaches say that,
yeah,
they mean well when they say
yeah,
that, but I think you and I are very big on it depends and context always matters,
yeah, yeah,
because things can't be so black and white. But I think what
exactly.
we're going to try to relay here is that, with that being said, these events and holidays happen every single year.
Exactly.
So it's not a surprise. It's not like, surprise, you're pregnant.
Yeah,
this is like
yeah.
this is like, okay, here's the plan, here's what it is. It's this, and this coming up. So how can we attack it in a way where I can maintain my progress and still stay aligned with who I am as a person and also my goals? And I think that
Right.
that's what we really want to convey to our audience today.
Yeah, I really want to help you navigate that, although it's, not, it might be just a few events or it might be many. And wherever you come from, we can learn to figure out how to manage, plan, prepare, and like you said, just navigate the whole season, whether it starts in September or starts in November or it's just a few days in December. The same principles apply.
Yeah. I mean,
Really, right?
ultimately, it's really about, I mean, I like to use that like the burner or even like the light switch
Done.
analogy where, yeah, where, where you really are goal focused, goal oriented, and have like specific goals, like, i.e., a fat loss phase. You turn those dimmer switches all the way up, right? You put it at the highest intensity because you've got that goal, you're focused. But then here comes holiday season or some kind of quote unquote off season that you have. You kind of just dim those down a little bit and try to find, like,
Mm.
I guess, that bare minimum of where you need them to be on at, where you can still hit everything that's staying aligned with what you need in that moment.
And,
I think the biggest issue, go ahead.
oh, I was just going to say, and maybe to rewind a little bit before we even hit that point, it's very important to have been practicing the lifestyle
Mm,
changes and habits
yes.
and behaviors, all of that, um, before you even, I think one can get to that point where it's like you can make choices aligned with your goals, your values, and feel confident to navigate the season because it is very stressful, because there is a lot of peer pressure, cultural pressure, family pressure, whatever it may be. So before you can even go into it and practice these strategies, like you have to have been doing this or at least implementing some sort of mindset or
Yeah.
lifestyle changes prior to. And that doesn't mean that if you haven't, you can't step into this season and still, be mindful.
Hmm.
Maybe it might not be exactly like a strategy that we might talk about here, but I think the key point here is not throwing in the towel, right? Not
Yes.
learning,
Not turning all
like,
the way off.
yeah, like you said, that is the key. So I mean, where would we start? Like I would
So
say
let's
if you're,
actually dive into that right
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Because I mean,
yeah,
there may be some people, I mean, our consistent listeners probably are people who already have dove into this journey and have some kind of like consistency underneath their belt. But let's say we have somebody new here who's like, oh, I heard these two girls, I really resonate with them, I want to know where to start. So
right.
where would they start in this holiday season that would be a low level barrier of entry for them?
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, I guess it depends where you're at, but really, I think it would be mapping out how many functions you have or how many events you have. I don't know. For me, I feel like let's start there and then maybe figure out what are the events that, you want to prioritize that are the most kind of important to you and where you don't want to be necessarily thinking about calorie counting, tracking, or if I eat this, if I drink this, like I'm gonna I'm gonna gain weight type of thing,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And so because if you do have many things going on, I think this is a tool that we also just use with our clients as well. It's to figure out like, well, what is the one kind of event that's most important to you? Just let that be mindful, go in there, have fun, be present, immerse yourself, and like I know because our experience, we always had that at the back of our heads, like, oh my gosh, if I eat this, if I don't, I'm only gonna have a little bit or this or that. But really, just go in with that kind of framework and maybe start there. For someone who is more seasoned, has been doing this for a while, I think the same advice applies. And again, it's up to you. Like, do you want to track? Do you not want to track? It all depends where you're at in your journey.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it would be really figuring out how many events you have and then starting there and then picking and choosing. I don't know. How about you? What do you think?
I mean, pretty much about the same thing because the
Yeah.
overarching theme is mindfulness. Because let's be honest, it's going to be hard for somebody just starting out to try to do all the things and then
Yeah.
also try to navigate like holiday season. So
Yeah.
for me, if I had somebody coming to me saying, "Hey, I'm just starting out. I'm not
Hmm.
ready to go all in. I have a busy holiday schedule because of work parties, corporate parties, family parties,
Right.
friends, things, cool. Okay, but I just don't want to gain 10, 15 pounds over this holiday season. Can you help me?" Yeah, I can help you. And it's going to be creating a template of just being mindful.
Yeah.
How often do you eat out on a normal basis? Oh, you eat out 5 days a week? Okay, can we start there? Can we maybe do more meals at home? So that way, now you're understanding what you're making at home. You're having more whole foods made at home versus eating out. And then you can go ahead and have those liberties and that confidence to go all in at your parties because you know that you're eating a little bit better most of the time. And then now you have that luxury when you go out to your functions.
Right.
Do you walk at all? No. Okay, can we maybe take a couple walks, a few times a week? Can we start there? I think it would just be something that's the most low level for them that wouldn't be overwhelming. Because again,
Right.
like this is not the time to really start attacking it if you're like day one, like
No.
just a newborn. but
No,
it
and
but it is possible for us to help you navigate it in a way that works for you, where it's not overwhelming and you can still feel good about yourself and your body will still feel good. So I think that would probably be my main thing, is assessing and auditing like what their
mhm,
life looks like right now, and where can we make quote unquote tweaks to it,
right, right.
to where it's like, okay, that's cool, let's go there, let's start there. And I think that that would ultimately be my how I would approach it from a coaching standpoint with my client.
Yeah, so very similar. And it doesn't like can you do a calorie deficit? Yeah, you can do it anytime. Um, is it the best option to start in December? Probably not. Like that's just I think our general right, Carmi, our general advice.
Yeah.
Probably not for most people. I mean, obviously
I mean,
more
if you're a
seasoned.
hermit and you don't have anything going on, sure, go
Sure.
for it. But I mean, I think it would just be a matter of like, let's look at your schedule. Let's look at your life. What does it look like? Because if
Yeah.
you're going to tell me that you have, your in-laws family Christmas, and then your main family's family Christmas, and then your friend's Christmas party, and then another Christmas party, and then your work
Hmm.
Christmas party, I'm going to say, well,
You gotta
unless
pick
you
and
plan on
choose.
not eating there and you're going to eat your meal at home, or you're going to bring your Tupperware with you, I don't know if it's the right thing. Can we start maybe January 2nd instead?
Yeah. Or just or pick and choose. I mean, have I done it? Yes. Was I very like in the beginning? I think I do actually remember still tracking, still being in that mindset. Like, yeah, no, this is okay. Like this comes around every year. So again, my analogy, like I've overindulged for over 2 decades. It's okay if I,
Yeah.
take it easy one year. So it goes back to like, what are your values? What are your goals? Where are you in life right now? Where are you in your journey? And just starting there. Um, I'd love to give you an example of one of my
Yeah.
clients. So again, she's South Asian, and so she has a lot of events. She started with me last year around this time, and we decided, like, of course, she wanted to go into a fat loss phase, but ultimately we decided let's stick to maintenance for November, December, um, and maybe even it was October. And because she had to navigate all of these events, so she took the time to like kind of learn to eat at maintenance, and even just simple things like I remember saying to her like just be present while you're eating your meal, because we're so used to being the host, cooking, cleaning, tending to other guests, and like basically wolfing down our food as we're doing it. And so not really thinking
Mm-hmm.
about it, paying attention to what we're eating, and just sitting down and being present. And so
Mm-hmm.
really my tip for her was, how about we just start there? Like you actually take 20 minutes, sit at the table, converse, and think about what you're eating and eat your food slowly. And so we did. We started there, and throughout the year we talked about like, oh well, this is this is the hardest time. This always comes around. Normally, she would just kind of throw in the towel and be like, whatever. Like this is weeks
Mm-hmm.
and weeks of events, right? This year, however, she did decide to go into a dedicated fat loss phase here in September. There's so much going on. She has an event every weekend. And so we're learning to navigate that. But she is in such a better headspace. Like for her now, it's yes, I do want to lose fat, but like more so, I just want to be able to manage this season without one, gaining weight, and
Mm-hmm.
two, if that happens, I choose to be in this deficit as hard as it is, and knowing how many functions I have. And so if the results are at the end of it that I lose a couple pounds, I'm happy. If I maintain, I'm happy. But I am really, really more. She said what was the word, like she is just basically just proud of the fact that she's at this point where like she's not constantly thinking about food, overindulging, going to each of these events, and now in a position to be able to navigate this, knowing, yeah, it's going to come around every year. It's going to be like this every year. So, what do we do? So, we pick and choose which events that we want to be less mindful, indulge a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more, And then the rest, we are going into it with different strategies like calorie cycling, um, eating protein and a really filling snack and or small meal before going to these events, and really just focusing on those things and looking at her week and planning and preparing for the week ahead. And again, these are all the skills that she's developed and tools over the last year. She didn't have that when she started with me the year prior, right?
Right.
And so we were talking about that and laughing. We're like, it's not just one thing. There's so much stuff. I don't think people
Mm-hmm.
understand how many events and family functions and just obligations and expectations there are in our culture. Like, it's
Yeah.
unreal. I even, it's hard for me to explain too. It's just like everything. It's not, I know for my family, so now I'm just going to kind of pivot. If I visit my family in BC, it's not just going to be one Christmas dinner. I know we've touched on this before. It's like five or six. My
Mm-hmm.
cousins, my other cousins, my
Yeah.
sister, my brother, right? Like my
Yeah.
parents. So it's not just one. And really, we'll just go right back to where we started. It's like establishing these lifestyle changes and
Mm-hmm.
habits over time so that you can be successful, when it comes to this season. This is the biggest season. Let's just, like,
Yes.
it really is for everyone,
Yes.
right? Doesn't matter where you come from. It's like basically from September to December,
Yeah.
right?
I think
So
the biggest takeaway here is that your client, and even you, because it's been a transition for you too, you guys learn how to make decisions from places of power and
yeah.
honoring them and saying, like, this is what I choose for me right now in this moment. Like, there's not going to be any guilt or remorse around it. This is my choice. I choose it. And two, planning and strategy. Because I think
Yeah.
that that's huge. Because I think that, navigating holiday season can be hard for some people, but I think it's mainly harder when you don't have some type of strategy behind what you do,
Mm-hmm.
because it's the same thing for my clients. I have a client who, she has a lot of corporate events and functions and stuff like that, and
Mm-hmm.
she she's always really good about communicating when those things are coming up. And so I'm like, okay, so what are we doing? How are we attacking this? Especially if she, some of those things were when she was in a dedicated fat loss phase. And, you and I both know that's hard to navigate because
Mm-hmm.
who knows what's going to be there. And most of the time it's probably like little bites of things that are probably more carb and fat heavy,
Yeah.
some protein. And so you just have to learn how to strategize everything and be okay with it, and also know how to manage your expectations around that. But we would always have the thing about, while your breakfast or your meals leading up to that event, let's keep them low in fat, low in carb, and high in protein. And let's roll out with a protein shake in hand and down that while you're over there, because we all know when you go to somewhere hungry, you're going to just
Mm-hmm.
start grabbing. And it's that mindless grabbing that
Mm-hmm.
really can put a dent in things for you, especially if you're in a fat loss phase. So it's not impossible. It is harder. But again, it takes planning, strategy, and also knowing how to work around certain things.
And you and I have both, have used these strategies and techniques with our clients where it's like, one, a fat loss phase isn't forever. Two, a fat loss phase can last for however long, for the most
Mm-hmm.
part, depending on where you're at, how much you have to lose. Second of all,
Mm-hmm.
there's always an exit strategy. So you can come in and out of a fat loss. Like, we're just saying fat loss phase, but just let's just say you're trying to lose weight. Okay, you can come in and out of it. You can be in it for like 3 weeks, take a week of maintenance. Maybe that's during Christmas. Maybe it's two
Mm-hmm.
days. Whatever the case may be, and go right back into it. Like, and so it's important. Again, you don't have to throw in the towel. There's a lot of tools and strategies here at play that we can use. We want to get into a few more of them, but like, it's just so complex. Like, it just depends on where you're at with all of this.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I know for some of my clients, well, most of them, like, I really do encourage them to just be in maintenance really for a couple weeks if that's the case, right? Like, I do have
Yeah.
a few clients right now in a fat loss phase, but when it comes to Christmas, like, I highly encourage just take the week, take the few days. Like, it's not gonna make or break you. If anything, it'll set you up for more success, because
Yeah.
another thing that tends to happen is that we have this intention of going into these events and saying, nope, I'm going to stick to my deficit. I'm going to, that's where I'm going to be. And sometimes it doesn't always work that way. And
No.
so I know for me, or maybe as well, like, and for some clients, you come out of that and you're like, oh shit, I failed. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you have you have these thoughts or feelings of,
Mm-hmm.
I failed, I couldn't do it. Now it's like whatever. Or, you start going down that path. And the key is, like, it's, you don't have to, right? Even if that were to
Mm-hmm.
happen, then those were your intentions. It's okay. It happens. But to alleviate that and not even have that as kind of, a barrier or whatnot, just go into it saying, hey, like, I'm good with eating at maintenance for whatever amount of time,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll move right back into that fat loss phase when, when I'm ready, and, when I plan for it. So
Yeah.
that's really, I think that's a key piece of advice from both Carmi and I, is at least during that time period where there are more events, so mentally, and even physically, it almost is easier just to move into that maintenance phase. If
Mm-hmm.
you're in a fat loss phase, if you're in maintenance, you're good.
Yes.
Right?
But also don't just
Don't.
because you're maintenance, don't just have like the case of the fuck it's for the whole entire season for 3 months period, because that's
Yeah.
where that destructive behavior comes, where now you're here in January and you have remorse because you're like, fuck, I went full
Right.
send, now here we go. And then it's just that constant cycle, that you
Mm-hmm.
find yourself in. And I really think that for people that that are in maintenance, I mean, do I recommend you continue to track? Yes. Do you have to? No. I mean, especially if you're so deep in this habit that you kind of
Yeah.
just have the same routine. Cool. Okay. I'm good with that. I mean, I do it just because, again, I have some specific goals. I just want to make sure, because I have a tendency to actually undereat if I
Mm-hmm.
don't pay attention to what I'm doing. So yesterday I didn't track. I wasn't feeling well. I actually went and tracked last night, and I realized I only consumed, even with candy, because I binge ate some candy,
Mm-hmm.
I only ate 1,600 calories. And
Mm-hmm.
I say only because my maintenance calories is closer to 2,200.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big gap right there for me. So for me, I just know that I just need to continue to track so I can know and have that data. You don't
Right.
have to, but again, I would strongly recommend that you don't deviate from your normal plan. If
Mm-hmm.
you, for me, how I navigate the holidays, again, because I stay pretty on track with everything, like 90% of the time. So when holidays do come, I don't need to track, because
Mm.
I know I'm good a majority of the time. I can afford those days. I can eat the pie. I can eat the second piece of pie if I want
Mm-hmm.
to, without any guilt or remorse, because I know I'm going to be okay. It's one day for me. Now, I don't
Right.
know how other people are around that situation, but let's just say you're different and you went into that situation and you're like, I'm only going to have the piece of the pie because I want to still remain on track, even though I am only in maintenance. But then you ended up having the second piece of pie. Well, don't go full send into a shit spiral and say you fucked up and then just have a case of the fuck it's for the rest of the season. No. At the end of the day, that was one day in the grand scheme
Yeah.
of 3 months. Like, if you go into your shit spiral for 3 months and just go off the beaten path and go unhinged, then yes, you are going to have that remorse in January. But if you just are like, okay, I lived in the moment, it's fine. I had the second piece
Mm-hmm.
of pie. That pie was banging, so there it is, and just go
Yeah.
for it. Like, it's fine. It's not
And
that big
even
of a deal.
even in maintenance, like, it really doesn't, honestly, it doesn't, like, that one or even two meals, even three in a month, they're not gonna make they're gonna have a negligible effect. Like,
Yeah.
it's nothing. And when you look at it, step back and look at, like, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it really doesn't make a difference, even in maintenance.
No.
However, like you just said, so for you, it's just 1 or 2 days, right? Whatever. You
Mm-hmm.
already know that's what you're going to be going through. I know if I go back home, it's going to be like 6, 7 events within like a 10-day period. And so I do utilize tracking. I track, even though I know what I eat for breakfast, lunch, like, I will still track that. And I will utilize a little bit of calorie cycling as well. right? Because
Mm-hmm.
that's I just know that there's going to be an overconsumption of food over seven, seven dinners. And so I will do that. I did that in the summer as well, and that's okay too. There's no right or wrong here. I think
No.
we really want to make you guys feel that and know that they're just all guidelines. There's no
Yeah.
rules to this. They're all general guidelines. There are some things that are true, though, like even in maintenance, if you eat in surplus over time in a month, like, yes, you can gain weight, like you can
Yeah.
gain fat. That's very
Yes.
realistic. That's why we're saying
And that's what happens.
exactly, right? And so, I know that for me, I'm pretty transparent. I was telling Carmi, like, I have a buffer. And in the last
Oh,
couple
yeah.
of months, I've reached that buffer. And it's cool. Like, I'm not gonna, even though for me, I was going through some stuff, and yeah, okay, I've kind of have that like 5 to 7 pound buffer. I I'm not just gonna go into fat loss. Do you know what I mean? Like, remember I was
Yeah.
telling you I was gonna do a fat loss phase in October. I'm going on a trip in February. So eventually I do want to get into one, but it doesn't concern me anymore. Like, it's not like a mad dash, right? Like it was
Yeah.
in back in the day where you're up like 7, 8 pounds. You're like, oh, fuck it. Now I'm gonna lose weight. Now I'm gonna, that cycle, right? So
Those thoughts don't consume you.
no. And isn't that crazy? Like, I am so good with it. I'm so comfortable. I know the choices I've made. I know where my intentions were. I know what I've done, not done. I know I've been, how kind of adherent. I've been consistent with certain habits, not others. But that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. I know it. And but there's a element of which I want to get into, and this is probably a good transition, is emotional eating during the holidays, because it is a very emotional time for
Yeah.
many, whether it's happy, sad, lonely, angry, whatever feelings come over you during the holidays. That's a real thing. And
Yeah, it is.
even and so even with the tools and strategies, we have to tackle those emotions. Like, we have to get down to that kind of root cause of like what's going on. I hear your laundry machine in the background.
The dog popped open the door.
Yeah. And so
I'm sure you heard him grunting a little bit.
I'm like, ooh, that sounds nice. But yeah, like, getting back to that, so like I just want to end it off though. Like, I just want to make a point that this is a change. This is a fundamental kind of internal change that has happened with me over the last 4 years, is that I it even though I've, go up and down, it's okay. It doesn't consume me anymore. And I don't let it get to like go off, quote, air quotes, off the rails, or
Yeah.
go back to those habits. Like, I just have a new set of habits, a new kind of
You have a threshold
floor
that you live
ceiling
by.
threshold. Yeah, exactly, right. And
And
again,
then you
that
also have
comes.
that awareness and accountability that you've
Yeah.
established within yourself, that you've worked on, which a
Yep.
lot of people, unfortunately, and I might piss some people off, a lot of you don't want to take accountability for your actions. You don't have awareness around your actions. And that's
Yep.
because you fail to do that work within yourself to understand why you operate the way you do.
Mm-hmm.
And that shit's always going to be that cycle if you don't do that.
Yeah.
And that's perfect segue into what you want to talk about, the holidays being emotional.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't know your fucking triggers, you got to work on that. Because I know my
Mm-hmm.
fucking triggers. I've had to work on that. I've had to understand, hey, being in the same vicinity as certain people for too long, like, I know a threshold of time frame. I can only
Oh my God, yes.
only be around
I
those
know.
because it does trigger me. It creates this set of emotions inside me that not necessarily makes me lead to emotional eating, but it makes me react in a certain way. And so I'm aware of it. I know those certain people that I can only be around for certain amounts of time.
Mm-hmm.
And now I got to be like, bye, peace out.
Yeah, for sure. Me too. Oh my God, I have that too.
But it's true. I think I don't want to say that's an Asian thing. but maybe that's across the board a people thing, because we just know those people. We just know those people that just like they push and they fucking push and they fucking push. And you're like, you know what? Like, I'm going to go all the way off, but instead I'm going to go ahead and regulate myself because I worked really fucking hard to do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and eat my plate and go. So I think that that's what people need to understand. Like, you can also say no. No is a complete sentence, guys, too. So don't feel obligated. Okay. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this from my chest. Just because they're quote unquote family doesn't mean they're family. Family is the people who you create around you, that support you, that make you feel loved and safe. You don't have to feel obligated to be around certain people because they're quote unquote family. If they make you feel fucked up at the end of the day, just say no. Go find another location to be at.
I know, and it's easy as that sounds, and I know you're in agreement with me. Like, we both agree on this.
It's hard. It's hard.
It is, so
because of the people pleasing.
People pleasing, but the culture
and the expectations. Like, how dare you not show up?
Yes, the obligations, the expectations, the mamas, the aunties, the grandmas, it is so
But that's where the little white lies can come help you. Oh, the kids were sick. They had the sniffles. We didn't want to get anybody sick. That's okay too. Sorry.
Yeah, yes, exactly. You don't owe any, but that just takes such a long time, like, I feel like, to get there. And, so much of it is introspective, like, work. And if you're not even aware, like, sometimes you say, oh, my mom pisses me off, like this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then I started to, once I was on this, like, healing journey as a part of this, I was like, So, I know you're saying, like, oh, they do. There are some people, like, I always tell my son, they annoy you, whatever. I'm like, they're not annoying. You're annoyed. So what is it about you that you're so annoyed? Like, it means looking in the mirror and looking at, like, I know we always use the word triggered and, like this and that, but it's like, okay, well, what about them triggers you? But what is it about you that you're triggered by them? Right? Right?
True. Yes. Because most of the time it's like holding a mirror up to you.
Yeah. And, I know, like, one thing for sure, like, and this is not just with my mom, but it's a lot of relationships. Like, I've been able to learn to take a step back and kind of say, well, like, I don't know their perspective. Like, I wonder where they're coming from. Like, I wonder where my mom's coming from. Like, let me just think about the shit that she's been through in her life.
Like their POV.
Yeah, their POV. There you go, girl. Yeah. You see those acronyms. Point of view. I didn't know what that meant, Dory, when I first started. I had to Google it.
And you're like, what is POV?
I know, right? What is 6'7"?
Like, what is TBH?
Have you heard 6'7" lately?
6'7".
Oh my God. I know. Oh, Dory. We'll figure that out. I just saw something.
I still don't know what it means, but my kids run around saying it.
I know.
Like, all right, cool.
I know. I'll just say 4'5" or 8'9". No, I'm kidding. Okay. Anyways, going back to what we were talking about. Yeah. So there is, like, there are a lot of emotions, and going into those situations, having not even addressed or, like, at least be aware of those. It's a very hard, difficult situation to be in. And you will probably tend to reach for seconds, eat more dessert, just eat mindlessly, and that will happen. And so I guess, I mean, in that case, it's like, now's the time. You got a couple months. Start doing that inner work.
I mean, it's true, though. I mean, I don't think we've gone any episode without talking about the importance of doing that like framework, that mindset work, that inner work, because it really is the foundation of everything. Like, it is one of those foundational habits, because, I mean, unless you are okay with operating like a robot, it's important. It's really important, because it's hard. It sucks sometimes because it does hold a mirror up to you, but it really does help you give some perspective, because much like you, where you're like, okay, I used to have an issue with, like, my mom or this person or this parent or this aunt. Like, you really have to take a step back and understand, like, what did they live through? What did they experience? And
Mm-hmm.
that's something that I had to do too, because, I don't have, and this is not any shade towards my mom. I don't have a very nurturing
Never.
mom, but that's just her character. That's just her. But then I had to take a step back and ask myself, did she have a nurturing mother?
Mm.
And I don't know. I can't, she's not very open about that. And I think that's also a cultural thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I have to believe, because my aunt, who she's really close with, they're very opposite. They're very different. So I don't know if it's necessarily that my grandmother wasn't nurturing, but maybe my grandmother was just harder on her, because she has shared experiences of what my grandmother told her, upon her deathbed, and expectations that she laid out on my mom, where it was her responsibility to make sure that, all her siblings were okay. So I can imagine that's probably hard. That's a hard pill to swallow and a hard burden to bear, that made her harder, like gave her a harder shell. So I had to kind of just give her grace with that and understand, like, I don't have the relationship with her that I would like. I've never heard, now we're going to cut into my mommy issues. I've never heard her say she was proud of me, but I think that that's nothing against me. I can't put that on me. I think that's just her. She doesn't know how to communicate. She doesn't know how to share her emotions. She doesn't know how to be vulnerable. And so I can't carry those burdens for her. That's for her, and I can't slight her for it. I just have to be okay with it. Instead of wearing my mommy issues on my sleeve, just say, I'm okay. I'm okay with telling myself I'm proud of me, because I know I'm doing the work, and I'm all right with
that. I'm proud of you.
And I'm proud of you. But that's the thing, is a lot of people cling to those things, right? I have mommy issues. I have daddy issues. I'm not trying to negate those issues that you have, but how about we address them? How about you give yourself some grace and space, as you would say, to navigate that and learn how to be okay with that, and to create an environment where you feel safe. And no longer cling to those mommy daddy issues, because I think that's another thing that people have those holiday issues about, is where they're like, oh, I have a terrible relationship with my family, but I got to go endure them.
Right.
Okay, well, maybe you start to learn how you can endure them and tolerate them without having those binge issues and resorting to food. So I mean, that's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, no, it is. And so that's just to clearly point out that it goes deeper. And there's a lot of like nervous system dysregulation going on. And just, obviously that's where the emotional eating's coming in. It's a response. It's, your place of safety. That's kind of what right? That's where you kind of turn to. And so especially being in those situations with the mom, the dad, the family, like, of course that's going to happen. Like, it's a part of you, and that's okay. And I think the first step here is to recognize and once you're self aware of that, then it's like, okay, what can I do now, right? And that might mean again, finding a coach, seeing a counselor, whatever the case may be. But that's where it begins, and that opens a door to everything else, right? Like we talked about it with Dr. Crystal too, on this just episode that was just released here, of how important it is to do that work, because it just teaches you. So, and it can happen, either preceding, concurrently, like it, while you're on your journey, whatever, like it just needs to be a part of all of this. So for us to sit here and say, hey, pick and choose 5 or like, a few different events, what's priority, go in, be mindful, track, don't track. That's all cool and everything. But that can fall apart if we haven't addressed some of the inside work at all.
Yeah. If you're in a freaking emotional wreck or in turmoil proceeding up to these things because you haven't hashed out the shit that's going on inside of you, then none of that's going to matter. We can give you a template and help you build one all day long. But if you revert back to like that inner child self, like as soon as you walk in that door, it's all done.
Yeah. And like it can be a cultural thing. I know in my culture, like we've discussed, again, these are just common themes that come up, but it's like that pressure from the family. On one hand, they're telling you you're fat, and on the other hand, they're saying, oh, eat this, don't worry. Or alternatively, like, oh, you're so skinny. Like,
eat
how
this.
Exactly. And it's like,
and eat another.
No.
I made this
It's like,
extra
no,
large
that's
samosa
how
for
I
you.
got, that's how I got fat. And now I'm like, trying to be mindful of my health. And now
But that's another thing. So that's another point that you just made me think about is finding your voice. If you don't do that inner work, you won't ever find your voice. And again, we come from Asian cultures where like having your voice and your opinion, like you got to tread lightly on that, right?
No.
It's a no. But for me now, it's like I have found my voice, but I have learned how to navigate it in a way that like it's my voice and it's a stern voice, but it's still quote unquote respectful in my in my culture, and it doesn't come off as like arguing back or being disrespectful. It's just because Asian families like to comment on your body.
Oh my God.
For me, they're just like, it's either, oh, I look good, but oh, I'm too muscly, or oh, I look good, and am I really going to eat all that? Yes, I am.
Yeah. And it's just, it's a lot to navigate. I get it. Like I've been there, done that, continue to, and, and then throw in alcohol in the mix and,
oh yeah, I know. I have a client who actually stopped drinking because she realized that she was making not bad choices, but she was not making the best choices under the influence. And I'm not talking like throwing back a whole bunch of drinks. It's just she knew when she had that glass of wine, she was grabbing for more things that she probably wouldn't normally grab for. And so that's also another thing too, is being mindful of how you react in certain situations.
And like, okay, so here's again, this is like the tools that Carmie and I will talk to our clients about as things come up in our conversations or in our, coaching calls. But it's like, okay, for most of us, you have an island of kitchen island of appies and finger foods. Now you're drinking. One part of that is like you just stand around the island. Yeah. Now you're constantly eating like every few minutes. And so one tool is, hey, grab what you want on one plate and that's it. And go sit down elsewhere. Do not converge around the kitchen island.
Hover. True.
And that is hard to do because it is so common, right? I know for me, I have moved away from when I host or have anyone over, I've moved away from having kind of like appies. I just no longer do that anymore. And it's just like mostly straight to dinner besides like popcorn or something, right?
Okay.
So that's kind of something that I've implemented for myself personally. Whereas before it was having 3 or 4 different like cheese, crackers, chips, right? Like just those types of foods, some veggies. Not a lot.
You're like, there's a veggie place somewhere around here.
Nobody eating I don't know, I was going to say like a celery stick while they're having a beer. I don't know.
No, they're going for the charcuterie board.
The pretzels or exactly. And so I remember like, again, like, yes, I can do that now, but if you're not there, your headspace isn't there, you're not even thinking about it. That is just your environment, and like that is what is set up for you, and that's probably it's gonna happen. You're gonna eat, and you're gonna end up eating a lot more calories than you had anticipated, right?
This is kind of why I hate the charcuterie boards. I call them charcuterie boards. I kind of hate them. Or charcuterie, the coochie boards. I kind of hate them because honestly, like, yes, is there meats in there? Yes, but it's all the high fat, like salami, Italian meats. Honestly, if you were going to come to my house, I hate hosting. I hate hosting because it's just annoying to me because like having to clean, I hate it. It's just a lot of work. Okay, I'll come over. I mean, I'll come over to your house and help you host. I just don't like to host in my house. Okay. But it's probably because I'm just already overwhelmed with the amount of like things on my plate. Like if I had like a less busy schedule, I probably would enjoy it more because I actually do. Yeah. I like to cook. I like to bake. I like to do it. I just like the thought of doing all that food. Less.
Right?
Yeah. But even like thinking about having to clean my house, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to. I just don't want to. But honestly, if I were to host and I were to make a charcuterie board, I probably wouldn't even do like the hard salamis and the Italian meats. I'd probably be that asshole that did like the deli meats.
Turkey, ham, the thin sliced cheddar cheese, the naan crackers, all of the stuff in my pantry in our fridge.
The lavash bread.
but okay, let's be real, Carmie, because even me having all of that, there is now a mix of healthier and not so healthy options. Whatever, okay? Like, I'm not going to get into terminology and words, whatever. That's what we're going to say. And, but there is a part of us that I think I learned from my mom, and I don't know if you have experienced this, and maybe our audience has. But food, again, like in Asian cultures, especially, it's all about food. I think it is generally speaking, that's what we congregate around, and
Mm-hmm.
food, that's just whatever. And so, but when you cook from that place, like it's cooked with love, meaning
Yes.
more oil, more butter,
yes,
more,
yes,
right? Like the more calorie kind of dense items, right?
the things that give it the actual flavor.
And even something that you make on a normal basis, like you're just going to add a little bit more, a little bit more cheese, maybe not light cheese, and we're going with full fat cheese.
Because you're not going to have people leave your house saying the food sucks. God forbid, no.
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not to that extreme anymore, but I will switch out a little bit here and there, but it is definitely it aligns more with who I am now and how I eat regularly versus like we're just gonna, go all out and put foods out that we wouldn't normally eat. I don't know. Do you agree?
Yes. Yeah, no, I agree. I'm a big advocate about like certain things are just meant to be consumed and enjoyed as intended. Like we don't have to quote unquote healthify it, especially when it comes to, especially for me, like traditional Filipino dishes. Don't fucking healthify it, please. Give it to me as it was intended. I don't need it healthified. Like I don't eat it often. Like give it to me. Like one of my favorite things is called kare kare, and it's oxtail. It's stewed oxtail for a very long time. And if you don't know oxtail is very little meat and a lot of fats. In a peanut butter sauce. Ooh, fat on top of fat on top of fat.
Yeah.
But it's so fucking good. Like when my mom's is like, hey, I made kare kare, I'm like, I don't even let her like hang up the phone. I'm already down the street getting it because that's just how good it is. But like, I'm sure there's going to be some people who are like, oh, let's healthify it. Let's not and say we did. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. There are, okay. This is just moving into the same thing. Okay, same thing. So the thing with Christmas, this time of the season, this is just it. Like if we are we have to expect that foods are just going to be more decadent, right? Luxurious.
As they should be.
As they should be. So when you just have one or two events, it's okay. Go for it. Yeah, you don't want but the problem is when it's 6, 7, 8, whatever, multiple events. And
it's every single weekend for the next 3 months.
And all those foods are going to be cooked that way because that's the expectation and fair. Why shouldn't it be, right? Where not everyone is, taking out deli meat. Just kidding.
You're an asshole.
Weighed and measured in portions on the crackers. No, just kidding.
Macros on the charcuterie board.
Yeah, right. Give it.
Horrible. Don't do that. Don't do that. I'm kidding.
But this is the reality of it, that is what you should expect, and that is okay, and it should be like that. But also then, okay, so now, you're not going to Dal or Carmie's house where, there's going to be a mix of stuff. You're going to just your regular whatever. Now we have to learn to navigate this. We cannot just go eat a whole plate of everything every weekend, Friday, Saturday, possibly even Sunday, over a period of 2-3 months, and not expect a different outcome.
Yeah. It's about being mindful of your portion sizes. Like if you have, so I make a really badass mac and cheese. And it's gooey and it's decadent. And no, there is no reduced fat cheese in this whatsoever. I'm talking like Gruyere cheese and Gouda cheese and like sharp cheddar, like with the roux made and like baked off with the panko and the butter. Yes.
Can you stop? Stop.
Is your mouth watering? Show me.
Oh my gosh. Do you know how much I love mac and cheese?
I love me some mac and cheese. Like I can get down on half of the pan, which is probably why I don't make it very often.
Yeah.
But like, this is the thing is like, if you're going to somebody's house, if I was actually hosting it, or if Dal and I were hosting a party for our friends, like, I'm going to make my food the most decadent with love as possible, because like, that's going to hit your happy endorphins. I want you at my home happy. And that's the thing that people need to understand. But you can also understand portion control. So if we're serving ham and turkey, I'm going traditional American here, ham, turkey, stuffing, mac and cheese, and the green beans. Of course, the green beans are going to be in a cream sauce with butter and stuff like that. It's not going to be just baked green beans or sauteed green. It's going to be like smothered in something.
Or casseroles, right? Like even or like the green beans are type, but they're all casseroles. Or
it's all casseroles. Yes, it's all high in calories. Like we know it's the Brussels with bacon and butter and
butter sauce, brown.
But like understand portion sizes. So if you've got the turkey and the ham, pile that plate on with the turkey and the ham and the protein, because you're better off that way. And then get a decently sized portion of all the other decadent things and navigate it that way. So you're still enjoying, but then now you're not overloading your freaking arteries with all the things, even though I'm like, I might want to do that.
I think that's our biggest tip. Like if you do have multiple events, like, you know, of course, again, pick and choose. But at most of them, if you're just mindful of, I mean, turkey at the end of the day, if it's not deep fried, like you can go with the white meat, you can go with some gravy, fill your plate with like some of the vegetables, not the casserole kind. But even those, fine, whatever, they're going to have like butter and whatever, but try to eat your veggies and then just choose smaller portions of everything else, like a taster size, really.
Boom. Yep.
Right. Yeah. That's the main advice that like I give to even my clients in fat loss. It's like, okay, pick that one event and just eat mindfully, but still stick to the taster size for everything else. If you're a fan of dessert, have your dessert. Cool. Right. But then just fill your plate with protein, veggies there. That's it. That's all you have to focus on and be mindful. Right. And by that time, like most clients that are in a fat loss phase, they're trying to navigate it over the holidays. They're kind of in it. They know, right? For the most part, they're in it. So they can stick to that. But yeah. So, oh man, now you got me hungry.
I know, I'm
salivating.
Now I'm like, mac and cheese sounds so good right now.
No.
But food's so expensive. That cheese is so expensive. That's why I don't make it.
Girl, it is more expensive to make things at home from scratch.
We've talked about this.
Right?
We've talked about this.
Yeah. Now listen, my Thanksgiving dinner, which I'm not having, but if we were to, is a box stuffing, which takes 2 minutes, canned gravy, a Costco chicken, because I hate turkey, and what else? Oh, frozen corn. So usually it's steamed veggies. That's it. Pretty simple. And
it works for you.
Yeah,
it works for you.
Exactly,
and shaving your game is fine. I mean, one year when I actually do get the gusto to host, and I think the last time I hosted Thanksgiving, Camden, my youngest, was her first Thanksgiving. So February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October.
Oh my God.
She was 9 months old. She was 9 months old and she was sick. And so here I am cooking everything from scratch. Because when I host, I go all in. So I cook everything from scratch. And here I am with a baby in the little holder, you know, like the little thing, the carrier. Yeah. Wow. Cooked with her the whole entire time from morning to whenever everybody got there. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It just goes to show you, right? Yeah. We strong, we badass, and we get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. We do go all out. I think it was like a couple years ago too. I went all out. It was going to be a Indian, I think, New Year's party dinner. So I made butters chicken from scratch, curry chicken from scratch, like all this stuff, and ended up getting a stomach bug. Like,
oh no.
Yeah, and then, but I don't waste anything, so froze all that shit, and I was like, whatever, we'll eat it when we eat it, right?
There you go. Heard that.
Yeah. So, okay. I mean, I think we covered off a lot.
I think we did. If anybody has any other questions or wants to, has a certain circumstance that might be a little different that they want to help, that they need help navigating, you guys can always reach out to us. We're always happy to help.
Yeah. Just, I mean, really at the end of the day, like this, This whole season, it's not easy again to navigate, and to come up with solutions on your own. Like, I don't know, maybe you can, but I mean, this is not to plug like coaching or anything, but really coaching, working with a coach really does help, and having that, like you mentioned before, accountability, support, um, and all those things. So yeah,
Yeah, especially if you're a person that's navigated this for years and it's always the same outcome where you exit the holiday season plus 15, 20, 10, 15, 20 pounds. Like maybe
mm-hmm.
it's time to like just get some help. I had somebody
Yeah,
reach out to me about coaching and I said coaching doesn't need to be a forever thing.
no,
If you have like a solid, like, I mean, 6, 9, 12 months under your belt with a coach that is actually
yeah,
willing to teach you, because you and I are huge advocates about educating our clients so they can
mm-hmm.
build that autonomy. Like that's the best thing that you can do. You have to look at it as an investment. I mean, it's just like your school. You invest in your school and your education. It's the same thing. Coaching is investing in becoming educated on
Yeah,
you, nutrition, fitness, health, all the things. So I mean, if
and
you're that person that's in that constant cycle, it might be something for you to consider.
for sure, it doesn't have to be us. So like whatever, but like we as coaches, we still have coaches. So
Mm-hmm.
no shame in the game.
No.
Like,
And mine,
just
at my point, mine is, I keep him around as a failsafe. He's just my
right.
guardrails.
Yep, yep,
That's it.
same. Like and I'll admit, like I need it. I need a little, like I have a lot of internal accountability, but I still need a little bit of external accountability as well. And I'm not ashamed to admit that, and I'm okay with that. And that's definitely something that, like, I think Carmi and I want to talk about on another
Oh yeah.
episode. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I think that's huge. And so with that, hopefully you'll tune in, and maybe that'll be our next episode.
Down.
So if this helps you, and if you think it can help someone else, especially as we move into this holiday season, please share, like, hear the dog comment.
He's cozy in the chair over here. He decided he was going to take up the other chair, the other rocker, and just take a nap.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so like, share, comment, whatever. Anyways, we'll see you next week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this with us, and we really appreciate it. Till then, bye.
Bye.